Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm Steve. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If it's your first time stopping by the channel, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't regret it. You're a returning subscriber as always, guys. Welcome back, and I do appreciate the support. Well, guys, over the past few days, video body cam footage came out about a young lady in Columbus, Ohio, or near the Columbus, Ohio area. Her name is Takia Young. She's 21 years old, or she was 21 years old, and she lost her life in a police shooting. Now, there's a lot of debate of who was right and who was wrong. They had people protesting about it. The police have been put on administrative leave. The body cam footage came out. There are a lot of mixed emotions. I'm going to show you a little bit about the story, and then I'm going to come back and talk about it the way we talk about it on here, guys. So without further ado, let's check out this news article and get right on it. Check it out.
Have released body camera footage in that deadly officer-involved shooting of a pregnant woman near Columbus. Authorities are also explaining why they haven't released the names of the officers. A warning here, the video is disturbing to watch. ABC's Rena Roy has more.
Protesters taking to the streets in Ohio.
Say her name, Takia!
After police released this body camera footage showing the moments an officer fatally shot 21-year-old Takia Young, a mother of two, who was 7 months pregnant with her third child. You see Young getting into her car at Kroger's grocery store in Blendon Township about a week and a half ago when an officer attempts to stop her. Police say a store employee had suspected her of shoplifting.
Out of the car. They said you stole stuff, do not leave. Get out of the car. Then get out.
Young saying other girls had stolen, not her, as a second officer gets in front of her car, pointing his gun at Young through the windshield. She asks, "Are you going to shoot me?" Young then turns her steering wheel and inches toward the officer, who fired a single shot, killing Young and her unborn child.
Get out of the car. Get out of the car.
A key question here is whether by taking a position in front of the car, the police officer placed himself in direct jeopardy and increased the likelihood that a lethal encounter would ensue.
Her family calling the officer's actions a hateful act, demanding his name be released and that he be terminated and indicted.
It was two people murdered that day, her and her little baby girl.
Ohio's Bureau of Investigation tells ABC that officer-involved shootings take time to resolve and that the names of the officers aren't being released because that would amount to them being uncharged suspects in an ongoing investigation.
Okay, guys, from me doing these videos for a while, and I like doing these type of videos, not saying videos where people are getting killed, but just analyzing and really thinking deep through these videos, because a lot of times stuff like this has a trigger effect. And a lot of people get triggered because some of us are conditioned to do that through what we see. But in the bottom of in the description box below, I have a link to where they break down every part of the tape with detail of what the officers did and didn't do that were legal and illegal. And if you break it down and you look at it, they show documentation of what officers are supposed to do. You'll see a lot of this stuff was in the parameters. But me, on a common sense level, you know what I'm saying? I see it a little bit different. And it's just medicine that it's a bitter pill that a lot of people are, going to have to swallow hearing this video. First and foremost, let me say Takia Young, may she rest in peace. She's 21 years old, and I'll get back to that in a second, but I want to analyze what you guys seen in that video. The cop that was on the side of the car telling her to get out and stuff, we're going to look at the obvious first. The cop said, "Get out the car." She said, "For what?" He was like, "Get out the car. They said you stole something." "I ain't steal nothing." She started pleading her case to the cop. She told the cop, "No, I want you to hear me on this." She told the cop, "No, she's not getting out." So she refusing a direct order to get out the car. It's an investigation. You part of it. You got to get out the car. A lot of times out here, stuff like this happens because, and you see it all the time in a lot of these videos of people refusing to what? Listen. If you go back and you look at it and not let yourself be triggered, the guy said, get out the car. They said, you stole something in the car. She said, in the store. She said, I didn't steal nothing. The other girl stole something. So the cop said, okay, then just get out, meaning we'll resolve it. When the cop in front, the dumbass cop, I don't even want to call him a dumbass cop. Cop got in front of the car to block the car. He had his gun out already. Whether or not he should have had his gun out is up to debate with a lot of people, but he had his gun out already. When he pulled his gun out and he pointed the weapon, Takia did what? She focused on him, and the conversation changed from him trying to get her out the car to a man pointing a gun in her face. Now, I don't know if a lot of you guys have ever had guns in your face, pointing in your face. I had them many times. It's a surreal experience, and it makes you think about stuff real quick, and it takes your focus on just, you know, the quick twitch of a finger and your life can be over. He pulled the gun out. When he pulled the gun out, she focused on that because that's the immediate threat. You're going to shoot me? And it took her off the conversation with this officer. So now, once she got that, the whole dynamic changes. So he's talking to her, get out the car. She like, no. She turns the wheel. The cop is in the way. It's not like she gassed it and went straight at him. She turned the wheel, and yeah, it bumped him because he was in the way, but she was trying to get away. And right at the second they pulled that trigger, if you go back and you look, you've seen her in the car with her hands up because he was pointing the gun when he shot. Now, like I said, this goes back to not listening, following orders. If you are right or you are wrong, I mean, if you're right, you think you're right in eyes of the law, or you think you know for a fact you didn't do anything, just get out the car. It's not going to kill you. It's not going to hurt you. A lot of us need to tell our younger children that are coming up and driving out here in the world, you know, driving has a lot of responsibility. And it's not just teaching them, hey, when you're out there driving, be cognizant of your traffic, but also of the world. She was out there, and it's like, I don't know her parenting or whatever, but we have to start teaching our children, especially our black children out here, that when a police officer comes up to you, regardless of whatever, they tell you to get out the car, you get out the car. Follow directions, because if anything goes right or wrong on body cam or whatever, you know, it'll be seen. Now, a lot of people might say, oh, well, they might turn the body cam on and off or whatever. Regardless of that, it works in your favor. You know what I'm saying? The law is the law, but you can't tell who's right, who's wrong. If you're not following a basic instruction, it automatically casts a shadow of doubt on you and your defense when you want to cry for injustice. And that's real. It is. The cop that was in front of her when he pulled that gun out, I think I understand when he's saying he pulled the gun out to say, hey, don't move. Stop, you're a part of an investigation. But I think Shakira, when that gun came, it triggered her, and she couldn't see that. Remember, she's 21 years old. Seriously. I mean, not in defense of her, she's 21 years old. A man just put a gun in your face. You see, she wasn't trying to hit him. She turned that car wheel and she slowly went out. She could have hit the gas and flipped his ass. You understand what I'm saying? If he wanted to pull the gun out to scare her and make her stop, which I think that's what he was trying to do, when he seen she wasn't going to stop, the wheel was right there, bro. You could have shot that motherfucking tire. You'd have to shoot her in the fucking, I don't even know where he shot her at. Another thing is, everybody's making a big thing of her being pregnant and all of this stuff. I don't think they even seen she was pregnant. Cop not going to look in there and look at your body to see if you carrying a baby or not. They just called out there. They're going to deal with the situation according to what it is. That's why the cop came over and said, hey, get out the car. Get out the car. They said you were stealing. You see the conversation? The professionalism was off with him too. I'm not going to say that. He could have went over there and handled it a little bit different. You know, he could have turned up after, you know, if she said, I'm not complying, I'm not, then he could have turned up. But the thing that's messed up is the video that I'm going to show you in the description box shows the whole situation after the trigger was pulled. And it showed, and it's sad to see it. But I mean, stuff like this has to be seen because it could be a teaching point to make sure this doesn't happen to anybody else. The cop in the front, he could have, if he pulled the gun out, he could have shot the tires. They got a license plate and all that. She ran off. It ain't nothing but liquor. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, she stole, but they could have shot her tires. She wasn't going nowhere. You know what I mean? It's just a different way of how he shot. You know, it wasn't like she was an armed felon or she could have had something in the car. Both hands was on the wheel. One hand was up. Come on. I'd have shot the tires. That's just me. But she had 2 children already and was carrying a third. A lot of people don't understand. Ma'am, your car was a weapon. And it's like, this is the day that you chose to die, whether you realized it or not. And that's messed up. It is. I'm with child. I'm not going to mistrust with this baby. I'm going to get out the car and do what they say. They'll see I'm with child. I got 2 other babies to worry about. In the video, you seen the lady say, I don't know if that was her mother or whatever, and she gives my deepest condolences, but she said, oh, 2 people died. No, ma'am, it was actually 4. In fact, or more, because she had 2 children already, and half of them had died when the mother went. She did. She lost the baby and herself. I would have thought differently. I'd have just got out the car. How come it's so hard for us not to listen? When the guy pulled the gun, you know it was serious. I'd have put my hands up. Okay. And I'd have got out the car. Because I'm carrying something that's bigger than me in my womb, another child. They would have seen it. We never got to the point of saying, hey, it was racism or anything like that. Like a lot of people are running around, jumping up and saying, and all this other stuff getting triggered for nothing. We never got to that point to get to the point where you could even say that. And that's one of my situations in here. And I'm going to say something that's a little off key, but I want you to notice something. You'll see a lot of these groups, these black groups come out and they'll start showing up when somebody gets shot in the street, you know, when it's something involving a police officer or something to get, you know, instant press. But it's like children die every day in crossfires. People kill each other. Women are victimized and all this other stuff. You never see them. Never see them. Only when something make national headlines like this. This is a true trigger event. A black woman killed by white officers had a baby in her stomach. They didn't even take that into consideration. And then they'll show up. Injustice. Justice for such and such. Justice for such and such. People study us like we think we studying somebody else. And a lot of us look crazy. We got to cut this victim mentality out in the black community. We got to cut it out. We'll never get any type of real recognition unless we stand up and call stuff on a common sense level instead of saying, look at how they do us. I'm so sick of this bullshit. And I ain't trying to soapbox or nothing like that, but it's damn. Children die every day. Child abuse. We get domestic abuse. I spoke at the funeral for Alicia Watts, so on and so forth. But you never see anybody jump up and say Black Lives Matter then. You don't. That's all I got to say. She should have listened. She should have listened. It was many different things that could have happened. I wasn't stealing. Get out the car. Okay, cool. I wasn't stealing. You know what I'm saying? You see it a lot of times. We see people pulled over by police officers. First thing they do is get on the phone. Who are you going to call that's going to save you? They wasn't in the car with you. Ain't a witness. A witness can't see over the phone. And they don't know anything because you called them after you got pulled. And listen, I'm Stock Market Steve for the Dynamic Reason channel. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. This is an unfortunate event that could have been fixed. It didn't have to end the way it did. If I was the cop, I would not have shot her. I'd have shot the tires or something. You know what I mean? She had her hand up and you blasted her, bro. Like, I mean, it wasn't like, you know, a car is a weapon, but she didn't use it. She tried to get the weapon out your way. Just me. I'm saying. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.